Welcome to Rediscover Arizona. I'm Krystle Long. Every couple of weeks, we take you all across our great state. Arizona is a place where the past can be hidden by the present. Rediscover Arizona takes you to the gems that make State 48 so unique. Once a department store in 1947, it's now an iconic restaurant and bar with some surprises. Step inside for something both nostalgic and new. Order up.
Our family owns and operates Hanny's and the building itself. It's a 1947 build. It was one of the first that came more to the West Coast. It's called an international style. So when you look outside at the curved building and the architecture of it, it's just something you don't see much of. That spurred into what ended up being one of probably the high-end clothing stores for downtown, an old haberdashery, hats, shoes. You've seen pictures where a shoemaker will be in the front window. If you notice the names of the suits and the clothes and stuff that are still on the walls today that we had preserved.
This former freight elevator shaft has now been transformed into a walk-in 4-story kaleidoscope, one of the largest of its kind.
This is an illuminated 3-chambered walk-in kaleidoscope. This is done from about a 10,000 lumen projection camera that is up above us, and then we're using mirrors to create all the illusions that are in here. So there are literally mirrors on the floor, there are mirrors on the ceilings, mirrors on the walls, and then a video projector in which our designer makes the different patterns and the music for us. This glass floor is suspended over Hanny's historic basement, which has a story of its own.
Now that we're down in the creepy basement, what's the story with the dolls?
The infamous creepy Hanny's dolls in the basement. Who would have known, right, that they would take off? They've been a staple around here literally for decades. This happens to be from the kaleidoscope elevator shaft that we were in that was decommissioned. That's the door for it. And these dolls, as we started to sit them around it, it just kind of took off. People started coming down to leave a token for the dolls, as you can see, where they're throwing money at them. We've got new additions to this. We have the first male that we added to it. It's kind of taken on a life of its own.
From the bottom to the top floor we go for more photo ops. Even the bizarre bathrooms have become Instagram worthy. They were the former fitting rooms. So if you come for the food and drinks, be sure to stay for everything else there is to experience.
You enjoy.
Thanks, Zach. Cheers to Rediscover Arizona at Hanny's. Krystle Long, 12 News. If you love race cars like me, then the Penske Racing Museum will make your heart race. Let's go inside and check it out.
Team Penske, one of the most successful teams in all of motorsports. Over 600 wins, been racing for over 50 years. In here now we have 15 cars. There's over 100 cars in our collection, so we cycle them in during the year. Different cars will leave, different cars will come in. On our second floor, we have our trophy case display. It's one of the most unique places in the valley.
Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. I'm just making sure this trophy is sparkling. It's one of 4 NASCAR Cup Series championships for Team Penske. And you see the design here? That's actually an outline of all the tracks the racers competed on to win this trophy. Why is this incredible collection right here in the valley?
This complex, the Scottsdale 101 Auto Collection, at the time was the crown jewel in the Penske Automotive Group. So what to make it more special? Well, let's build in a space for Team Penske's museum. And always, it's free. When we opened 22 years ago, that's the way Mr. Penske wanted it.
The Penske Racing Museum has been here for 22 years, but you've been with Penske even longer than that. What was it like actually being out there at all the raceways?
Definitely exciting, travel all over the country, all over the world actually at that point. The time when I was on the road, I want to say it was like over 50 wins. I was a jackman on Elio Castroneves' car for 10 years. I was on 3 Indianapolis 500 winning pit crews for Castroneves when he won.
Do you ever have either current race car drivers or past race car drivers just show up?
There's a few drivers that live here in the valley. Buddy Rice, Paul Tracy, Ari Lyondike Jr. Sometimes I'll be kind of cruising through and all of a sudden I'm like, I know you. Sometimes even our current drivers will be doing different sponsor appearances or different stuff like that.
In a Ferrari 296, I could get used to this. I'm Krystle Long, 12 News. On to the next chapter as we now explore Arizona's only rare book collection in a public library.
In this room, we have collections that equal about 5,000 items. We have clay tablets from 2000 BC, all the way to artist-made books from 2024. Directly behind me is a cabinet full of first edition, and then surrounding me is sort of a tasting of books from 15th through 19th century and some first edition classics. This is The Life and Death of King John. It's from 1685, and we believe it comes from Shakespeare's Fourth Folio. This is a tiny Bible. It's a miniature Bible from 1593. And you can just see how tiny that type is.
I think I need a magnifying glass.
I like to place this next to this big Bible. People kind of get a kick out of that. This is a Washington printing press from 1895. It's fully functional. Then if you wouldn't mind, grab this and slowly pull it toward me and then carry it back, and then we will roll it out, and then we would get print.
Voila!
So here we have exhibit really showcasing the works of John Milton. And for those that are not familiar with John Milton, think of it in terms of English literary giants. You have Shakespeare and then John Milton. We have John Milton's famous work, Paradise Lost, from 1668, as well as a collection of his works from 1697. This is Raphael Holinshed's Chronicles of England, Scotland, and Ireland from 1587. This copy of Holinshed's Chronicles belonged to John Milton, and that the annotations were in fact his.
The end. From the Phoenix Public Library, Krystle Long, 12 News. Wow. All aboard for an Arizona adventure like no other. Hop on the Dolly Steamboat with me where you could take a cruise in the middle of the desert.
We do welcome all of our guests aboard Dolly Steamboat today. It's going to be a gorgeous day on Canyon Lake. My name is Jeff Grimm, and I've been piloting the Dolly Steamboat here for about 35 years. My family had purchased into the business back in 1986. The name came from the original owner's wife. She dressed up in all the regalia of the 1800s, and she had the big hats and the umbrella, and she loved doing that. So she greeted people, and she still does outside marketing for us. In her 90s, every now and then she'll come out and take a cruise, so she's doing really awesome.
We're on the hour-and-a-half scenic nature cruise now, but there are also dinner and astronomy voyages too.
It's something for everyone.
What does it feel like to be captaining this ship out in the beautiful Canyon Lake?
What really drives me is to see people enjoying themselves.
The photo ops are endless on Canyon Lake. In addition to the spectacular scenery, be on the lookout for desert bighorn sheep and bald eagles. Does this hat make me your co-captain?
You know, if you would like, you feel free to sit up here and you can take, apply the waters of Canyon Lake.
But Beth wore better. She not only took the captain's cap, she took the wheel too. Yay! Can I high five you too? Good job!
We hope you enjoyed your trip aboard the Dolly Steamboat today.
On Canyon Lake, Krystle Long, 12 News. Get the popcorn poppin'. We're in Glendale to rent movies the OG way. From the classics to new releases to movies you can't even find on streaming.
Take your time, browse around. My name's Matt Mason, and this is my shop, Superstar Video. I've been working here 30 years. The store's actually older than I am. This is our 46th year, family owned.
When I walked in, I saw row after row after row, ceiling to floor of movies. How much is in your inventory?
We'll go 100,000 plus. I mean, obviously there's duplicates, but you're gonna find stuff here that you're just not gonna find anywhere else. I like to think of ourselves as a library, actually.
In a world where streaming is king, how did Superstar Video survive?
There's so many decades of history of movies that you're just unaware of until you step in a place like this. Renting a movie is more of an event. You bring your family here, you all get to pick a movie. It's not the mundane of picking a movie from streams. And most of the time it's what's new and what they want you to see. You can't ask Netflix a question. You can just come ask me for your movie and I'll find it for you. Cause I catalog them, I put them away, I know where everything is. And even if you don't know what the movie is called, I'm gonna find your movie. And if I don't have it, I'll track it down.
Oh, I was looking for this. And if you find a movie you really love, you could also buy it.
Bronx Tale gets asked for a lot. Drop Dead Fred gets asked for a lot. And movies don't have to be old to be hard to get. This is a movie just from, we'll just say 5 years ago, Ready or Not. This is a movie you can't stream anywhere and is already a rare movie.
Why are you passionate about keeping those doors open?
One, I love to collect these movies. And two, I love the interaction with other movie fans. Thank you, we'll see ya. That come in looking for a movie, and whether you want to talk about a movie or you're looking for that hard to find movie, it's something you just don't get in everyday life.
So do the right thing and get your nostalgia fix by taking the family on a joyride to Superstar Video, a wonderland of movies. You'll find the rental you want, and oh, he's got games too. And don't forget the deal. 4 for specials and 99-cent Super Mondays. In Glendale, Krystle Long, 12 News. The story of Arizona is quite literally in here. Welcome to the Arizona Room, which is right on brand with Rediscover Arizona. Let's check it out.
The Arizona Room is a reference collection. It houses books, maps, city directories, yearbooks.
Just look at this collection of yearbooks from middle schools, high schools, and colleges from across Arizona. I wonder if my high school Mesquite's in here. Oh, but look at this. I found a yearbook from Phoenix High School from 1915. It's the oldest one in the collection. And did you know the creator of Sesame Street, Joan Gans Cooney, went to North High School? That's her yearbook.
And here is one from 1924 from Phoenix Union High School. It shows Barry Goldwater, president of his freshman class. It's so fascinating to see, people signed your yearbook. And so to see what the handwriting from 1924 or the photos, to see the fashion, the style. We also have a collection of about 2,000 vintage Arizona postcards. A lot of them are vacationing in Phoenix, weather's great. The James McClintock collection has about 2,000 photographs that show the history of Phoenix and pre-statehood. This is a registry book for Phoenix Public Library from 1901. Before there were library cards, this was used to mark our collection back in the day.
And check out this uniquely Arizona vinyl collection. Let's hear it from the Phoenix Boys Choir from the late 1970s.
If you're new to Phoenix or you've lived here your whole life, there are gems to be discovered. You really get to see the history of the city and Arizona. We're a young state, but we have a rich history.
Until the next Rediscover Arizona chapter at the Phoenix Public Library, Krystle Long, 12 News. On behalf of Carry On, it is my pleasure to welcome you aboard Flight 12 News, with service from Phoenix to San Francisco and a final destination of Mexico City. We're cleared for takeoff. Soon we'll be cruising through the clouds, but for your safety, please fasten your seatbelts because you're about to go on a thrilling ride.
This golden age of travel that oftentimes we all missed out on when it came to a plane. When they originally really had that kind of heyday, it was the 60s and 70s. Everybody got dressed up to do it. So you would have actually had a bar, I think a little bit of inspiration from Hugh Hefner in that time frame as well. And that's more what we wanted to emulate.
What kind of an aircraft are we on and how long is our journey?
747, and technically your flight is 90 minutes.
Do you ever run into weather delays or turbulence when flying?
Turbulence is a big thing. I'll tell you it's right about midway through the flight.
Captain speaking, just a quick heads up, we're coming up on a little turbulence ahead. No one wants to spill a drink at 30,000 feet.
You can feel it. You know when it's happening.
Is there any other place like this in Arizona?
No. I don't actually know if there's anywhere like this in the world. The aspect of the experience as well as the attention to detail. The tickets themselves were actually created off of an old school style of passenger coupon.
How do you come up with your destinations and how do you make sure that your food and your drinks mirror those destinations or inspired by them?
We will always do an international and a national. It's really making sure that we pay homage to the food and to the beverages and to the ingredients themselves. Popularity comes into play a little bit, but it's also just culturally what we can relate to our spaces here, and then also time period. So 60s and 70s also had to flow into the cocktail menu as well. Recently, we just started our captain's cabin. There are select flights that have 10 seats available for a 4-course small tasting menu. That also includes cocktails as well.
Please tell us about the award you're up for.
I recently got nominated as a semifinalist for a James Beard Award in Outstanding Cocktail Professional. I couldn't really be more honored or humbled. My community and my peers are the ones that are a part of this voting process.
Pilot Ricky, the passengers are telling me they want to take a trip for their taste buds to a tropical place. What can we make?
I have the perfect drink. It's gonna be the Jungle Bird. If you want, you can help me. Ice it up. And we're all set.
Cheers. It's like you're flying the bar and also the plane. Wait, is it safe for you to be making cocktails and flying this plane at the same time?
At this point, I feel like the plane flies itself.
Did the thunderstorms ever trigger any trouble with the turbulence over here as you're making a cocktail?
We've gotten used to it. I got my, I guess, air legs, would you call it?
Did you ever think you'd be a pilot?
No, this is a great experience. And then right when I put the uniform on, I feel like I'm a different person. We get everyone in at once. It's kind of a rush to try to get all the cocktails out. It's definitely a fun time.
We've made it to our final destination. Use caution when exiting the aircraft. Things may have shifted a bit during flight. We hope you've enjoyed your trip with us today and hope you fly with us again really soon. Krystle Long, 12 News. Feel like a kid again at the Arizona Doll and Toy Museum. It's a collection of about 1,000 vintage toys from around the world. You can explore and reminisce on your own. Oh, I remember playing with Furby. Or you can take a tour.
Come on with me. The museum is nonprofit, run by volunteers for the last 35 years. So we have some of the miniature shops from Knott's Berry Farm in 1950s and 60s. Then we have the antique dolls. Most of them all came from Germany. She's about 160 years old. She's French. She has a human hair wig and her body is made out of leather stuffed with sawdust. These are antique doll rooms. They're called room boxes.
What's the oldest toy you have in your collection?
We have what you call a millinery model. She is paper mache and wood, and from the late 1700s.
Someone looks like they're in trouble. Shh, this 1912 class is still in session. Hey, did I see somebody passing notes?
And then as we go into the museum, we start getting into more newer toys. We have the American Girl, we have G.I. Joe, Betsy Wetsy, Tiny Tears, Thumbelina, Barbies, of course. But before Barbie, the most important doll was Shirley Temple. Everybody loved Shirley Temple. Cootie was a huge game for a lot of kids in the 60s and 70s.
This is a day and age when it's all about video games. Why is it important to collect these vintage toys and put them in this museum for people to come and enjoy?
Just to know what your grandparents had or your parents and just how it has evolved. There's not a lot of even toy stores around anymore, let alone antique stores or museums. We should really look back and remember some of our good times with toys as we were children.
What was your favorite toy to play with when you were growing up?
All kinds of dolls, paper dolls mostly.
Kathy, what would you say is one of the most unusual dolls you have in your collection?
So this girl here had to have 3 different faces on her head so she could show different emotions. They just hadn't invented the eyes to close yet. She is sleeping, and so there's a pin on the top, and you will turn it and happy.
If you'd like to take something home with you to collect or play with, Barbie's my favorite, there's also a gift shop. In downtown Glendale, Krystle Long, 12 News. Boyce Thompson Arboretum is Arizona's oldest and largest botanical wonderland, spanning about 340 acres of breathtaking landscapes loaded with around 20,000 plants. And there's 5 miles worth of trails for you to create your own adventure and take it all in. Kim, this is your office.
This is my office.
Does it ever get old?
Oh, never. It's just one of those incredibly beautiful spots that it never loses its enchanted status. There's something to offer in all seasons. Every inch of it is gorgeous, and there's something new every day.
There are photo ops galore here, but this scenic spot is definitely a fan favorite.
Probably anywhere you can get Picket Post Mountain in the background is probably our most photographed spot. I'm just as guilty of taking 1,000 of those pictures. And we've got a variety of different places that you can see. You can walk through our canyon area, which is cool and shady. You can also go to our Boojum Cove, where we have boojum trees from Baja, California that are really cool and spectacular. We also have an incredible eucalyptus forest that you can walk through with all of our Australian plants.
This is Ayer Lake. It's home to 2 endangered species of fish, Plus, it attracts native wildlife and a diverse migration of birds in the winter.
We also have a hummingbird garden where you can see a lot of hummingbirds. The area we're standing now, the Wallace Garden, is a fairly new installation for us.
How on earth do you grow plants from all over the world right here?
They're all arid plants, which means that they're plants that like the heat, they like a dry environment. And 100 years ago, when our founder, Colonel Boyce Thompson, founded us, he wanted to know about what plants would grow in a place like Arizona where there's not a lot of water, where it's very dry. That's how we got started, as more of a research endeavor. And here we are today, 100 years later.
So what's the next 100 years look like?
I think the next 100 years we will be here, as always, and we'll continue to do that important research. As our world gets hotter and water becomes more scarce, it's even more important for us to do the research on the plants that we have here and educate everyone about them and what they can use in their landscape, what they can use, for food and things like that. So that mission continues on for the next 100 years.
Feeling inspired after exploring here? You can actually take plants home and create your own backyard beauty. In Superior, Krystle Henderson, 12 News. Thank you for watching. You can catch more of our Rediscover Arizona coverage across the 12 Plus app and online at 12news.com.